How you respond to a chemical spill depends on the hazard, amount, and location of the spill. This video highlights the general procedures to follow for minor and major spills of solids and liquids. Always contact the school's health and safety manager in the event of a spill of toxic, highly reactive, biological, or radioactive materials, or if a spill occurs outside of a lab, as these are likely to require a specialist response by the school's emergency team. A minor spill is where the risk is minimal, from only a small amount or a low hazard substance being involved. Minor spills can normally be dealt with quickly and easily without the need to call the emergency services. If you are an undergraduate student in a teaching lab, your first action should always be to call a demonstrator or technician and make sure that nobody gets close to the spill. In the event of a spill, you should do the following. Ensure nobody in the immediate area can be harmed from the spill. Ensure you have appropriate PPE, including a lab coat, appropriate gloves, and appropriate eye protection. Take care with any broken glass or other hazards involved with the spill. Check what cleanup procedure is needed by looking at the relevant COSH assessments and/or safety datasheet. The school has a general spill procedure which will now be outlined, but you should always seek and follow advice if unsure what to do or the circumstances change. To clean up a minor spill of a dry solid, the material should be carefully swept up using the spill kit's dustpan and brush. Once as much of the solid as possible has been swept up, it should be disposed of in a suitable waste container available from the spill kit, which may be a yellow hazardous waste bag or a plastic tub. There may already be a waste container to use in the lab for small amounts of solids. Any excess solid can be wiped up using paper towel damped with an appropriate solvent, which may or may not be water, depending on compatibility. Contaminated paper towel and gloves should also be disposed of in the yellow hazardous waste bag. If possible, clean the dustpan and brush before returning them to the spill kit. Otherwise, dispose of them in the yellow hazardous waste bag and replace with new ones from chemistry stores. To deal with moist solids or materials that cannot easily be swept up, use an absorbent such as paper towel or a spill pad and dispose of as before. Once the spill has been cleared, the yellow hazardous waste bags and any waste containers used should be taken to chemistry stores for disposal. Any sealed containers need to be labelled with their contents. To clean up a minor liquid spill, first limit its spread, for example by using a paper towel or spill pad. Decide whether the liquid can be simply absorbed or if it should be neutralized, for example using sodium bicarbonate for acids and citric acid for bases. Also, check if there is any danger from contact with water. The identity of the spilled liquid should be found using the container label or COSH form. Minor spills of low hazard liquids can be absorbed using paper towel, which should be disposed of as hazardous waste, preferably using a yellow bag. Spill pads can be used if paper towel is not sufficient or suitable for the liquid. The waste bag should then be taken to chemistry stores for disposal. If a major spill occurs or a spill occurs outside of a laboratory which presents a greater risk, everyone in the immediate area should be evacuated and access prevented to stop anyone entering. Contact the health and safety manager as soon as it is safe to do so, and, if possible, whoever is responsible for the lab, so that additional support from the school's emergency team and first aiders can be provided quickly if needed. Undergraduate students should immediately contact the demonstrator and should never try to tackle a large spill themselves. You should confirm the identity of the spilled material using the container label, COSH assessment, or any other information so that the hazard can be assessed before beginning cleanup. Those responding to a major spill must have appropriate PPE, including a lab coat, gloves, eye protection, and, where necessary, RPE. The school's emergency team have access to additional spill response equipment, including respirators and disposable overalls. In the event of a large solid spill, the spilled material should be contained and removed using the spill kit's dustpan and brush into a labelled waste container. If the solid spilled produces an airborne dust, close doors to prevent the spread and increase ventilation through windows and fume hoods. If appropriate, dusty solids may be wetted to prevent airborne spread, but only if it is safe to do so. The solid can then be transferred into an appropriate waste container, labelled, and taken to chemistry stores for disposal. The area should not be used until deemed safe by the lab responsible or health and safety manager. Remember to clean or replace items used from the spill kit. The first step to tackling a large liquid spill is to prevent the spread. To do this, you should use the spill sock from the spill kit to make a barrier around the edges of the spill. When placing spill socks, ensure the liquid cannot enter any drains. If the substance is volatile, close doors to prevent the spread and increase ventilation through windows and fume hoods. Now, the liquid should be neutralized if appropriate using sodium bicarbonate or citric acid. pH paper can be used to determine when the spill is neutral. Once neutral, the liquid can be absorbed using absorbent pads from the spill kit. These should be disposed of with the spill socks and the yellow hazardous waste bags. Once the spill is clear, the hazardous waste bag should be taken to chemistry stores for disposal. The area should not be used until deemed safe by the lab responsible or health and safety manager. Remember to replace used items from the spill kit. These are available from chemistry stores. Remember, in the event of any spill, you should ensure nobody can be harmed by the spill. Use appropriate PPE, including a lab coat, appropriate gloves, and appropriate eye protection. Take care with any broken glass or other hazards involved with the spill. Check what cleanup procedure is needed by looking at the relevant cost assessment and/or safety data sheet. Get help and never put yourself in danger.